Under the pale light of a distant blue sun, the capital city of the alien world of Lyrasa stood quiet and proud. Tall white towers curved like living stone, and wide-open plazas were filled with soft lights and floating banners. Today was meant to be a peaceful day. A celebration had been declared to mark 10 years since the end of a long and painful war. For the first time in many cycles, different species stood together without fear. Among them was a small group of humans. They were guests, allies, and observers, sent to prove that humanity could stand calmly among the stars. Most people in the crowd barely noticed them. Humans were still strange to many, short-lived, heavy-boned, and born on a harsh world. Some aliens whispered that humans were dangerous. Others believed they were useful. Very few believed they were kind. One human soldier stood near the edge of the great plaza, quiet and alert. His name was Ethan Cole. Ethan wore a simple uniform, unmarked by rank symbols. His helmet was clipped to his belt, his brown hair stirred by the warm alien breeze. He had been trained for battle, for chaos, for moments when fear ruled the air. But today, his orders were simple: observe, protect if needed, do not provoke. Ethan scanned the crowd with calm eyes. He noticed details others ignored: how security drones floated slightly out of alignment, how some guards were tired, how excitement made people careless. His instincts never truly rested. At the center of the plaza, the alien queen of Lyrasa appeared. Queen Valoria was tall and graceful, her silver-blue skin shining softly under the sun. She wore ceremonial robes woven with light, symbols of her long rule and great loss. When she raised her hand, the plaza fell silent. Her voice carried without effort, calm and strong. She spoke of peace, of rebuilding, of hope. Behind her stood royal guards and advisors, and slightly apart from them, half hidden by the folds of the stage, was a very small figure. Her daughter, Princess Lyri, was still young, barely past childhood by her species' standards. She was smaller than the other royals, her large eyes full of wonder as she watched the crowd. This was her first public appearance since the war. The queen believed the plaza was safe. Ethan noticed her immediately, not because she was royal, but because she was unguarded. The guards were focused outward. The drones were scanning the crowd. No one was watching the child closely. She stood near the edge of the stage, curious, leaning forward slightly as if the world below fascinated her. Ethan frowned. Children, no matter the species, had a way of ending up in danger when adults believed everything was under control. The speech continued. Applause echoed across the plaza. Music began to play, soft and bright. People relaxed. Some guards even smiled. That was when everything went wrong. A sudden sharp sound cracked through the air, not loud, but wrong. A flash of light sparked near the edge of the plaza. One of the security drones dropped from the sky, its systems failing. The crowd gasped. Another drone flickered. Then panic spread like fire. People shouted. Aliens moved in confusion. Some pushing, some freezing in fear. Security teams scrambled, trying to understand what was happening. The music cut off, replaced by alarm tones. Ethan moved instantly. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't think about politics. His eyes locked on one thing only: the small alien child on the stage. Princess Lyri looked around, confused. The sudden noise frightened her. She stepped back and slipped. She fell from the edge of the platform. Time seemed to slow. Ethan broke into a sprint. He pushed through the crowd, ignoring shouts, ignoring startled looks. He reached the stage just as the child hit the ground. He dropped to one knee and caught her before she could be trampled. He turned his body, shielding her completely. A sharp impact struck his shoulder as someone collided with him. He absorbed it, steadying himself, holding the child close. He felt her small hands grip his uniform. "It's okay," he said quietly, his voice low and steady. "You're safe. I've got you." She looked up at him with wide, glowing eyes. The alarms continued. Something unseen caused parts of the plaza's systems to fail. Lights flickered. More drones fell. Security forces rushed in, forming barriers. Royal guards shouted commands, but in the chaos, a piece of damaged structure broke loose from above, falling toward the ground where Ethan knelt. He saw it. He turned, shifting his position, placing his back between the falling debris and the child. The impact hit him hard, knocking the air from his lungs. Pain flared across his back. He did not let go. Dust filled the air. People screamed. When it settled, Ethan was still there, crouched low. His arms locked around the small princess. His uniform was torn. His shoulder throbbed. But the child was unharmed. Royal guards reached them seconds later. They froze. The sight before them did not match their expectations. A human soldier, injured, kneeling in the dust, protecting the queen's daughter with his own body. Queen Valoria saw it from the stage. Her heart stopped. For a moment, she could not move. She could only stare at the human who had placed himself between danger and her child without hesitation. "Bring them to me," she commanded, her voice tight with emotion. Ethan stood slowly with help from the guards. He kept one arm around the princess, feeling how small and light she was. She did not pull away. Instead, she held onto his sleeve. The queen descended from the stage, ignoring her advisors. She approached them. Her eyes locked on her daughter. "Leary," she whispered. "I fell. He caught me." The queen turned her gaze to Ethan. Up close, she saw the damage to his uniform, the blood, the pain he was clearly trying to hide. Yet his posture remained respectful. "Calm. You are human," she said. "Yes, Your Majesty," Ethan replied. "You were not assigned to protect my daughter." "No, Your Majesty." "Then why did you?" Ethan hesitated only a moment. "Because she needed it," he said simply. Silence fell around them. The queen searched his face, expecting fear, ambition, or desire for reward. She found none of it. Only sincerity. She placed a gentle hand on her daughter's head. "You protected my child," the queen said slowly. "At great risk to yourself." Ethan nodded once. "I would do it again." Princess Leary looked up at her mother. "He wasn't scary," she said. "He was warm." The queen closed her eyes briefly. In that moment, something ancient and powerful shifted within her. The plaza was secured. The threat was contained. Later, it would be discovered to be a system failure caused by old war damage. But that did not matter now. What mattered was what everyone had seen. A human soldier choosing protection over safety. Action over hesitation. Compassion over fear. Queen Valoria straightened. "Human," she said, her voice carrying across the plaza. "Your name will be remembered." Ethan stood silently, unsure what that meant. Above them, the blue sun continued to shine, unaware that the fate of two worlds had just begun to change. And far across the galaxy, unseen eyes would soon take notice of the bond formed between a human soldier and an alien child. Part 1 ends here. If you want, I can now write Part 2, 1400 words with. The royal palace of Lyrassa was quiet, in a way that felt heavy rather than peaceful. Wide halls curved like shells, their walls glowing softly with living light. Normally, music and gentle voices filled these spaces. Today, there was only the sound of footsteps and low whispers. Ethan Cole walked between two royal guards. They were taller than him, their armor smooth and elegant, their expressions unreadable. Ethan's shoulders still hurt, and his back ached with every step. But he kept his posture straight. He had been offered medical rest. He had refused until he knew the child was safe. Princess Leary walked beside him. She held the edge of his sleeve with one small hand, her steps light and careful. Every time the palace seemed too large or too strange, she leaned a little closer to him. Ethan noticed. So did everyone else. Whispers followed them through the halls. A human. She should not be touching him. The queen allowed this? At the far end of the hall, massive doors slowly opened. Beyond them waited the royal court. Queen Valoria sat upon her throne of living crystal. Advisors stood to her left and right, scholars, commanders, and elders who had guided the kingdom through war and loss. Their faces showed curiosity, concern, and quiet tension. When Ethan and the princess entered, The room fell silent. The guards stepped aside. Princess Lyri immediately ran forward. "Mother," she called. Queen Valoria rose at once and knelt, gathering her daughter into her arms. She examined her carefully, checking for even the smallest injury. Only when she was satisfied did she exhale. "You are unharmed," the queen said softly. "Yes," Lyri replied. "Because he protected me." The child turned and pointed directly at Ethan. All eyes shifted to him. "Human soldier," the queen said, standing once more. "Step forward." Ethan did. He stopped several steps from the throne and bowed his head slightly, as he had been trained to do when facing foreign leaders. "My name is Ethan Cole," he said. "Peacekeeping Unit. Terran Alliance." The queen studied him closely. "You acted without command," she said. "Yes, Your Majesty." "You placed yourself in danger." "Yes, Your Majesty." "You protected my daughter." Ethan met her gaze, steady and calm. "Yes." Round. A low murmur moved through the court. One of the elder advisors stepped forward, her voice sharp but controlled. "Humans are known for strategy," she said. "For long planning. We must ask, what did you expect to gain?" Ethan turned toward her. "Nothing," he said simply. The word echoed. Another advisor scoffed quietly. "All beings act for gain." "With respect," Ethan replied, choosing his words carefully. "Not always." The queen raised her hand. Silence returned. She looked at her daughter. "Lyri," she said gently. "Why did you stay with him?" The princess thought for a moment. "Because he stayed with me," she answered. "Even when he was hurt." That answer struck deeper than any speech. Queen Valoria closed her eyes briefly. Long ago, during the war, she had learned how quickly people abandoned the weak when fear took hold. She had lost family to that truth. It had shaped her rule, her caution, her distance. Now, a human, an outsider, had done the opposite. "You may step back," the queen said to Ethan. He did, unsure what would come next. "Court," the queen announced, her voice strong. This human acted not as a soldier of conquest, but as a guardian of life. "Before judgment is passed, I will know the truth of him." She turned to her intelligence master. "Begin a full review of his service record. No omissions." The advisor bowed. "At once, Your Majesty." At a. Ethan was escorted to a side chamber, not a cell, but not a guest room either. A healer treated his injuries with careful hands, using warm light that eased the pain in his shoulder and back. "You should rest," the healer said. "I'm fine," Ethan replied, though he sat when asked. Time passed slowly. He thought of Earth, of training grounds under heavy gravity, of lessons drilled into him since youth. Protect those who cannot protect themselves. Do the right thing, even when no one is watching. He had never thought those lessons would echo in an alien palace. Hours later, the doors opened again. The same guards returned, but their posture had changed. There was respect now. Even curiosity. "You are summoned," one said. This time, Ethan was brought to a smaller council chamber. Queen Valoria waited there alone. Princess Lyri sat beside her, legs swinging, holding a small, glowing toy. When she saw Ethan, her face lit up. "He's back," she said happily. Ethan felt something warm tighten in his chest. "Come," the queen said. Ethan approached and stopped at a respectful distance. "I have reviewed your record," the queen said. She gestured, and a projection appeared in the air, images, reports, moments from Ethan's past. He saw himself helping evacuate civilians, standing guard over shelters, carrying wounded soldiers of other species, not just humans. "You have repeatedly chosen restraint," the queen continued. "You have acted with mercy when force would have been easier." Ethan said nothing. "These actions brought you no reward," she said. "Often no recognition." "Yes, Your Majesty." The queen leaned forward slightly. "Why?" Ethan thought carefully before answering. "Because strength that only serves itself doesn't last," he said. "And because someone has to be the one who stands when others can't." The room was quiet. Princess Lyri looked up at her mother. "He's like the story guards," she said. "The ones who don't leave." Queen Valoria smiled faintly. Human, she said. Do you understand what it means to protect a royal child in our culture? Ethan shook his head. No, Your Majesty. It is considered a sacred bond, the Queen said. Not forced. Not chosen lightly. She stood and stepped down from her seat. My people will question this, she said honestly. Some already fear humans. Others see opportunity. What you did today will echo beyond this palace. Ethan met her eyes. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I know, she replied. That is precisely why it matters. She turned to her daughter. Lyri, what do you wish? The princess did not hesitate. I want him to stay, she said. So I'm not alone. The Queen felt the weight of that simple request. Lyri had lost siblings to the war. She had grown up surrounded by adults who feared for her safety so much they kept her distant, protected but lonely. And now, for the first time, she had chosen someone herself. Queen Valoria looked back at Ethan. You will remain within the palace, she said. Not as a prisoner. Ethan blinked slightly. Then as what? The Queen paused. Under consideration, she said. She placed a hand over her heart, a gesture of deep meaning in her culture. You have earned my attention, she said. That is no small thing. As Ethan was escorted away, Princess Lyri waved at him. Don't go far, she said. I won't, Ethan replied before he could stop himself. High above the palace, hidden among distant stars, long-range observers recorded the event. A human soldier, a royal child, a queen who hesitated. Across the galaxy, powers that watched Lyrasa carefully began to whisper. Something had changed, and they were not sure they liked it. Part 2 ends here. The sky above Lyrasa changed color 3 days later. It was not a natural shift. The soft blue light dimmed, replaced by warning tones that echoed across the capital. Ships appeared in high orbit, their shapes sharp and unfamiliar. The palace alarms did not scream. They chimed calmly, controlled, but serious. Ethan Cole was with Princess Lyri in the garden when it happened. She stopped walking and looked up. That sound means trouble, she said quietly. Ethan nodded. It means people are afraid. Guards moved quickly, but without panic. Couriers ran through the halls. Advisors gathered. The palace shifted into readiness. Not for war, but for defense. Queen Valoria summoned the court at once. This time, there was no ceremony. The great hall filled with tension. Holographic images hovered above the floor, showing the ships in orbit. They belonged to the Kareth Union, a powerful group of worlds that had never trusted humans or Lyrasa's independence. They demand explanation, said the intelligence master. They claim the Guardian Bond threatens balance. They demand surrender of the human, added a diplomat. For neutral evaluation. The words were calm. The meaning was not. Princess Lyri's hand tightened around Ethan's sleeve. Queen Valoria's eyes hardened. There will be no surrender, she said. But they are stronger, one advisor warned. Their fleets are not the point, the Queen interrupted. She turned her gaze to Ethan. You are the reason they are here, she said. And also the reason they hesitate. Ethan straightened. Then let me leave, he said. If my presence brings danger. No, Princess Lyri said sharply. She stepped forward, small but fierce. You don't leave people behind. The room fell silent. Queen Valoria looked at her daughter, then at Ethan. This is the final test of the Guardian Bond, she said. Not of strength, of choice. She activated the channel to orbit. The image of a Kareth commander appeared, tall and cold-eyed. Queen of Lyrasa, the commander said. You are harboring a destabilizing element. The human must be handed over. Queen Valoria stood tall. You speak of destabilization, she replied. Yet you send warships to enforce fear. Our concern is order, the commander said. Humans do not belong so close to power. Ethan stepped forward. Then let me speak, he said. Gasps echoed. The Queen hesitated only a moment. Then she nodded. Ethan faced the projection. I am not here to take power, he said simply. I'm here because a child needed protection. The commander narrowed his eyes. That is not a reason alliances shift. It is, Ethan replied. You just forgot. Silence stretched. You fear humans, Ethan continued, calm and steady. Because you think strength means taking. On Earth, strength often means standing still when it would be easier to walk away. The commander scoffed. Words. Then watch actions, Ethan said. He turned to the Queen. If they come closer, he said, let me go to them. Unarmed. Shouts rose instantly. That's too dangerous. They could seize you. Queen Valoria raised her hand. You would trust them? She asked Ethan. No, he replied. But I trust who we are. Against every advisor's protest, a single transport was prepared. Ethan boarded alone. Princess Lyri hugged him tightly before he left. Come back, she whispered. I will, he said. I promise. The transport rose into orbit, small and bright against the dark. When Ethan arrived aboard the Kareth flagship, he was escorted into a wide chamber. No restraints, no weapons. The commander studied him closely. You could have hidden behind your queen, the commander said. I didn't need to, Ethan replied. She trusted me. That answer unsettled them. Ethan spoke of Earth, not of weapons or fleets, but of rescue teams, of disasters where humans ran toward danger for strangers. He spoke of children pulled from rubble, of rivals saved because life mattered more than pride. He did not beg. He did not threaten. When he finished, the chamber was quiet. You would risk yourself for an alien child, the commander said slowly. Yes. And for this world? Yes. And if we strike? Then you prove my point, Ethan said. Long moments passed. Finally, the commander turned away. We will withdraw, he said. Not because you are strong, but because you remind us of something we lost. The fleet moved away. Cheers erupted across Lyrassa. Ethan returned to the palace, to a world transformed. Queen Valoria awaited him in the great hall, surrounded by her people. Princess Lyri ran to him and threw her arms around his waist. You came back, she said, smiling. I told you I would, Ethan replied. The queen raised her voice. Today, she said. The guardian bond has proven its worth. She stepped forward, holding a small crystal emblem. This is the final reward, she said. Not gold, not land. She placed the emblem in Ethan's hand. Humanity is recognized as kin of Lyrassa, she declared. Trusted allies, protected friends. Forever welcome. The hall erupted in applause. Ethan looked down at the emblem, then at the queen. I only did what was right, he said. Queen Valoria smiled. And that, she replied, is why it is magnificent. As the blue sun rose again over Lyrassa, the galaxy took notice. Not of a battle, not of conquest, but of a human who chose to protect a child and changed everything. The end.